Okay, so one of the new books I've also gotten a chance to read and enjoy very, very much. This may actually be a three-part book review because the book is so dense. So the book is called Sapiens by Yuval Harari. I know there's a middle name in there somewhere, but Yuval Harari is the name. Okay. So in this book, Sapiens, Yuval walks you through essentially the history of humanity. And he starts out with this premise of pointing out that humans, Homo sapiens, are, you could say, an offshoot of our primate, I don't know what to call them, ancestors. That's the best way to put it, right? So just like we look at chimpanzees today and apes and different kind of monkeys, and this is not to be derogatory in any way, okay, for anybody. So get your ears and heart and mind out of that arena. But again, you got to take every author's view with a grain of salt, okay? He points out that humans, those who operate as we do, that we are an offshoot, okay? So if you just look at nature's way of showing you what's what, right? All the primates, we are offshoots of that, okay? In the sense that we are the sapient versions of primates, okay? And sapient versions meaning we're the ones that our brains are our power, okay? If you compare us to other primates, they have certain powers and capabilities. Our power is in our brains. Okay, we don't all have the same level of brute force or, compressive strength in our hands. What we've got going for us as sapiens, right? This version of humanity or primate-manity is our brains. So starting there's all kinds of other things that we over time develop: stories, concepts, ideas, things that bind us, things that connect us. And that includes our story and narrative around money, our story and our narrative around beauty, our story and narrative around value, you name it. I mean, he just walks you through just human history and just how we've made up concepts and ideas to arrive at where we are today. And where we are today has been a function of, you could say, the fighting of three battles, okay? And these three battles have been around, war, okay? Like, how do we protect ourselves? Famine, okay? Which is, how do we feed ourselves? And then the third has to do with health, right? Our well-being, okay? So that said, those three things have been the things that have, you could say, catalyzed human evolution. We've tried to figure out a way to defend and or take things from others, and then defend what we're taking. We've tried to figure out how to make sure that we stay fed, right? And the other thing that we've tried to fight against is how to stay alive, health-wise, and how to preserve our health. And all those three things have been catalysts behind economies, civilizations, I mean, you name it, okay? So all that to say, and like I said, this could be a multi-episode review, in that, for me, Sapiens gave voice and words to questions that I've had about how did we get here and who are we really, and what it is that drives us. And some of these answers I've found in other books and pieces, but Sapiens sort of, you could say, is a receptacle for all those ideas, and it makes so much sense. The value of books like this one for me is that, given how annoyed and irritated I am just about human beings and how they operate, is that when I get perspective on how people are and why they are how they are, I leave them alone. I leave myself alone. I stop being aggravated. I stop being annoyed. I stop being irritated. I find peace in better understanding my fellow human beings. I consider myself a human, or an alien in human form, right? Because I don't understand how humans do what they do. But when I put on the lens of what Yuval takes the time to break down in the book Sapiens, I start to understand, like, oh, this is how humans do things. So if you found yourself ever just wondering, how do people justify, whether it's the murderous rages to economic deception, to warfare, you name it. If you've ever just wondered or been frustrated or been grossed out by just how humans operate and relate to each other and interact, this book kind of can help you gain or regain your sanity. And I feel like that's also what it's provided for me. So there's so much I could say about this book and about this work, but I'll stop it here, because I could go on and on and on. I owe myself another second or third or fourth listening of the book, for those of you who are audiobook listeners, or if you're a reader. Either way, it's worth going over twice and 3 times, and maybe even 4 times, because there's so much depth to this work. And at the end of the day, like I said, I believe earlier, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But I don't think you need a lot of salt, because this one's got some flavor to it. Okay. Like, the book is really, it's got some just hard to debate and very disarming perspectives on how human beings work and how they operate and how we got here. Not only that, but where we're going to next, now that we've, you could say, conquered war, or at least we're in a position where we can reach somewhat of a stalemate when it comes to wars, and we've come to a place where we don't have to starve, and we've come to a place where our health does not have to be in question. Okay, like plague does not have to wipe us all out. So what do you do when you have those 3 things handled? What's next? And that's where, he leaves us, right? And I guess perhaps in pursuit of whatever his next work is going to be. So that said, I hope you enjoy Sapiens. It's a deep read. It's a long read. It's got a lot of hours if you're an audiobook person, and a lot of pages if you're a reading person. But it's worth it as you nibble your way through. All right, thanks a lot, and I will catch up with you. I'll leave a link for you as well below, for you to not just get that book, but also see other books that I've recommended along the way.